what ultimately matters, I guess, for the adults or for the kids is the results, right? It doesn't really matter what it is that anybody says or anybody looks like or whatever. It's the result. It's what's on paper. It's putting account to account or business to business and seeing what's really going on. So.
I don't know if this is a question that my kids are necessarily asking, but it's always the same every year. Is it's that fear of, okay, I got an idea or I want to do something, but what is the next step? Where do I, how do I get this thing started? And if you don't know what you're doing, who do I ask? And what do you do? And usually it's not a simple answer,
right.
At least as far as I'm concerned, because you really have to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of us, even myself, right? Every day I wake up and say, man, I know that I don't know anything, right? I continue to tell myself that so that I can continue to to learn. But when somebody asks a question, it's almost breaking it down and saying, okay, what is this person really truly asking? What's this kid really asking? What do I do next, right? And in order to find that out, I believe if you guys have been doing this for more than 1 year, right, you should be able to have some sort of reports, analytics, metrics that show you what these kids are doing after they leave your guys's, whether it's classes or whatever it is that you guys are doing with it, right? And if you don't, then it's time to start, right? It's kind of like in business, we boost, whether it's videos or we're boosting, anything that has to do with marketing. The only way for me to track is by turning around, looking at my social media manager and saying, what are the metrics? What's the numbers? Because that's the most important thing to me. She can tell me she's doing, I'm working 8 hours a day and I want to raise and all this stuff. And it's like, all right, show me the metrics and I'll tell you if you're bringing value. And if you're not, then I don't know where we're going to go next, right? And so for these kids, I know I would say, so I have a pretty big message for teachers. It's something that for me impacted my life when I was young and I didn't realize it, right? So I started off in 2nd grade with a teacher that I still remember her name. It was Mrs. Reese, and it was at Woodland. And I mean, is it?
That's a good
when I was so impacted by her because that's the age where I started to get in a lot of trouble. And you're thinking 2nd grade? Well, for me, I started very, very young. By the time I was 15, I was locked up in prison doing time, looking at adult time, as a 15-year-old. So I did a lot of things when I was young. Really fast. And at 2nd grade, I remember that teacher, every single birthday she gave me a birthday card. Every single birthday. It didn't matter if I was in her class or not in her class. When I got out of her class, she would still find me and she'd give me that birthday card. And it would always say, you have potential. Carlos, you have potential. You have way more potential. She would see the kids that I would hang around and she knew that I had everything. I had a mom, a dad in the home. I had family that was, a strong family, big family. My grandfather had 85 grandkids, right? So I had tons and tons of cousins. He was an entrepreneur. He started a business, a taco shop, and then eventually turned it into $1 million business. And so I had everything that I didn't need anything. My mom and dad, if I wanted shoes, they bought me shoes. But for some odd reason, I was bored in class. So I was a different type of individual where I did my homework and I got straight A's, but I just got bored and I just didn't want to be in class the rest of the time. So what I would say is that when those teachers continued to try, even though they felt burnt out, even though they felt like, well, what's really working? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, for me, when I go out there and do like what I'm doing today, I've got 3 different engagements this week, and this is one of the smaller ones. But even, and I say that not out of disrespect, but just so put things in perspective. I give no less to the smaller ones than I do to the bigger ones, right? Because I know that my purpose and my why is to represent change. That's my mission in life. It's not to make $1 billion, which I will. It's not to make the best and hottest mobile applications out on the planet. It's not to get fame, fortune, and all that stuff, because I've seen that stuff. I've tasted that stuff. It's to represent change, to show individuals that, look, I came from this, and the only reason that I'm free and the only reason that I'm able to do the things that I'm doing is because God gave me the second chance that I have. And so I'm blessed with my children. I'm blessed with my wife. I mean, I got a beautiful wife. She's fantastic. I mean, I can't complain about anything. My children, they all get A's. Every one of them. I just got through every one of them gets A's. I mean, most of them are in the gifted classes. I mean, I don't deserve all the blessings that I have, but what I do know is I'm living for an idea as opposed to living for materialistic things or well, I need this or I need that. I know what it is that I want, and that's why the idea is bigger than me. It's me coming here. We didn't finish at the office until about midnight, so we were driving here from midnight until 3-4 in the morning, right? And there's no question in my mind as to why I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if all those kids that I speak to are going to get one thing. It's one kid. That's all it takes. It's one. Because out of all the kids that I grew up with, my mom has a photo, and I've said this time and time again. She's got a photo where all the kids' heads are circled except for mine. So everybody else is dead or in prison. Every single one of them that it was in my elementary class. And so I'm that one kid that teacher didn't give up on. And because she didn't, now I got the opportunity to go help more kids, right? And so if there's ever any question that gets asked by one of the students, you don't have to have all the answers for them. You don't have to have the perfect answer for them, but what you do have to have as a teacher is to be able to encourage them to find those resources, wherever it's at. And if you truly still have that passion, and if you don't have that passion, then it's time to reignite that passion or do something else.